सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। Brahmananda, actually these chapters are called the 5 chapters, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. The Brahmananda Granthaha. If you carefully analyze these 5 chapters with the earlier 10, we find some difference in the sense the subject matter is slightly different from the earlier 10 chapters. It is only if you view at them superficially. But if you delve deep, you will find there is some connection between these 5 chapters and what was taught earlier. Tikakara says, Yadyapi Brahmanandaksha Granthasya Pura Granthad Atyantam Parthakyam Pratiyate. Though these Brahmanandaksha Granthas do appear to be there, look, if Ramakrishna Tika is there, I will tell you. Otherwise, unless you don't start hunting and wasting your time. I will tell you when Ramakrishna Tika is there, you can see in your book. That means from the Pura Granthat, Atyantam Parthakyam Pratiyate. So, though it appears, that means total, distinction is there with respect to the earlier chapter, yet we do find some connection there. Of course, that means a superficial observer may find the difference between the 10 earlier chapters and this chapter. So, Pratiyate Parishirna Shalinam, those who try to analyze that. Yet, Tathapi, Tripti Deepe Pradarshitayaha Triptehe Anantaram Avirbhutasya Akhanda Falabhutasya Anandasya Vistarena Swarupa Pradarshanaya Amum Grantham Arabate. So, here we get the connection. Yet, we do find that in 7th chapter, Triptidipa, which has been taken by Swamiji in detail, I know. So, in 7th chapter, the author has spoken of something called as Tripti. And what type of Tripti it is? Not the ordinary contentment or the satisfaction you get because of whatever that you want in life, but it was called as, there is a specific word used by the author there. What type of Tripti it was? Nirankusha Tripti. I hope you remember. Nirankusha Tripti. Unrestrained, limitless Tripti. That satisfaction, that contentment, which has no limitations at all. So that was the contentment or the satisfaction of a person who has got the knowledge of oneself, the Brahmajnani. In fact, if you take these from stanza, this chapter 7, stanza 251 to 298, these stanzas speak of Nirankusha Tripti of Brahmajnani. See, there it was told, Kritam Krityam Prapaniyam Praptam Iti Eva Tripyati. Kritam Krityam. Whatever that is to be done in life, Krityam, already accomplished. Also, Prapaniyam Praptam, whatever that is to be accomplished in life, already accomplished. Iti Tripyati. So, because of that, he is contented, he is satisfied, not ordinary satisfaction, the total satisfaction, the total contentment. Iti Tripyati was told. Also, there is 252. Chapter 7. Then, Kritakrityataya Triptaha, Prapta Prapyataya Triptaha, 291. Okay? In a different manner. He is content because Kritakrityatva. That means an accomplished person. Kritakrityataya triptaha. So, whatever that is to be done, nothing else to be done. Prapta prapyataya triptaha. Whatever that is accomplished, he has already accomplished. So, and therefore he said, Dhanyoham. I am really the blessed person. These are the expressions of a Brahmajnani, the outbursts of the based on the experience of the Jnani. Dhanyoham. I am the really blessed one because everything I have accomplished, there is nothing to be accomplished by me. So, Brahmanandam me spashtam vibhati. The Brahmananda, the Ananda, which is the very nature of Brahma, limitless Ananda, me spashtam vibhati. Very important. To me, it is very clearly revealed. We went there and Brahmajnani was declaring like that and we were sitting there by the side and hearing him. He says, me Brahmanandam srishtam spashtam vibhati. What about us? We hear him saying that Brahmanandam spashtam vibhati, but as far as we are concerned, Brahmananda astiti me nishchitamati. That is true. We know that Brahmananda is there, but is there spashta vibhati? That means the spashta bhana of that is there or not? This is the declaration of the Brahmajnani that to me the Brahmananda is very clearly revealed. So I am able to appreciate very clearly without any trace of doubt, not only that, as verily this is what I am experiencing, that is what he says. So Brahmanandam spashtam vibhati, stanza 292. This is an expression or the outburst based on that means the direct discovery of what is one's own real nature, Brahmananda. Now the question arises, what exactly is that Brahmananda? 7th chapter has not spelled about it. Means it has hinted, but it has not described in clear terms what that Brahmananda is. So there is an akanksha is there is an expectation is there, what that Brahmananda is, which is the discovery of this Brahmajnani. And up to 10th chapter, this subject matter has not been elaborated. Of the author is dwelling on some other topic related to the earlier teaching, but he has not dwelt on this aspect. What exactly is that Brahmananda? If it is not elaborated, the text is going to be incomplete. So therefore, in this chapter, these are chapters 11 to 15, what exactly that Brahmananda is being analyzed and pinpointed as it were, and you can also certainly discover, provided you are tuned up properly. Okay, that's right. Provided you are tuned up properly, you can certainly also discover. That's why somebody said, what are you going to take at Coimbatore in Bombay? Somebody asked, what are you going to take at Coimbatore? I said, Swamiji is asked to take from 11th chapter onwards, whatever that can. So thoda bola, Brahmanand में thoda dubki लगाएंगे. In Hindi, dubki means take a dip. So let us take a dip in Brahmananda. Yes, it is possible provided you tune up properly with this, because I think by 7th chapter you must have understood what the Panchadishikara is, the stuff is, the unique way of his unfoldment. You must have at least very clearly seen in 7th chapter. One stanza elaborated into 290 odd stanzas. Okay? That is, here, as far as the unfoldment is concerned, there is nothing lacking in his, that means, methodology. But the question is, to what extent we are tuned to discover the Brahmananda. A very precise analysis is there. Certainly it is possible even for that means a common person, if he has got something in him, to discover what it is. So that Brahmananda, what exactly is that Brahmananda? So that is being analyzed and actually pinpointed as it were. Like under a microscope, a specimen you just pinpoint and then this is what it is. Like that, the analysis is very thorough. So therefore, though these 5 chapters, Brahmanda Granthas, appear to be different, they are connected to the earlier chapter, that is the 7th chapter. So Brahmanda is analyzed and elaborated and pointed out precisely as this is what exactly it is. Now, Brahmananda is divided into 3 types of Ananda. Look, one thing should be very clear. How many Anandas are there? How many Anandas? Sources may be different, your experience may appear to be different, but Ananda is one and the same. Ananda, the happiness, the joy, that is joy not out of the sense object, the very content of the happiness, that is only one and the same, and that is Brahmananda. What Brahmananda? Brahmanaha Ananda. Brahma eva Ananda. Brahma itself is Ananda. It is not some characteristic of Brahma. So that Brahmananda alone is the Ananda. All other Anandas, all other happiness, joys that we experience may appear to be different on account, due to the different sources, but the content is one and the same. See, from the sugar, so many sweets are made. The ingredients are different. The color may be different. The flavors may be different. The shape may be different. The usages may be different. In different countries, they may be, that way the custom may be different in how, as well as how they are used. But in and through, the sweetness is on account of one and the same sugar. So therefore, it is the Brahma, that is my nature, that is Brahma, which itself is limitless, and may appear, or that means may express in terms of different types of joys depending on the sources through which they are gained. But Ananda is only one, that is Brahmananda. But for teaching sake, analysis sake, he first divides these into three: Brahmananda, Vidyananda, Vishayananda. Why he does that? Because he has got some basis of division. The basis of division is like this. So first he separates Dhivritti Rupaha Anandaha. The Ananda wherein the vritti, the thought is involved. What it may be Vishaya vritti or it may be Vidya vritti, we'll see in the, afterwards, because of the particular chapter it will come. So the Ananda may be based on the vritti, the thought in the mind. Dhivritti Rupaha Anandaha. Tadanyaha Brahmanandaha. Other than the Ananda which is experienced on account of vritti, the thought, is Brahmananda. Now, this Dhivritti Rupa Ananda, that is Ananda that is based on the vrittis of the Antakarana, they can further be divided into two: Vishayananda and Vidyananda. See, Brahmananda, you can make a chart as it were. So Brahmananda divided into two: Dhivritti Rupaha Anandaha, Tadanyaha Brahmanandaha. Source is one and the same, Brahmananda. Now, this Dhivritti Rupaha Anandaha is Vidyanandaha and Vishayanandaha. Two types of Ananda. Means where a vritti of the Antakarana is involved, they are twofold: Vidyananda and Vishayananda. Whereas the other one, which is bereft of any Antakarana vritti, so that is Brahmananda only, but for analysis sake and teaching sake, he divides into further three Anandas. They are Yogananda, Atmananda, Advaitananda. So Brahma, that means the Ananda, Brahmananda without the Dhivritti is divided into three: Yogananda, Atmananda, and Advaitananda. Whereas Dhivritti Rupa Ananda is divided into two: the Vidyananda and Vishayananda. Actually, you will find Anandas in galore afterwards. Is that? Yes. At least I think 8 to 10 Anandas you will get. But they have to be resolved. And they will be resolved in terms of this five. In terms of this five, they will be resolved. Otherwise, name-wise, one after the other, he is finding, but he has got a certain purpose in finding those new names for that. In that context, it will be clear, and we will be tracking them in the context in which of these five do they fit in. But for our analysis, these are the five Anandas because the five chapters are based on these five types of Ananda. Vidyananda is dealt in 14th chapter. Vishayananda is dealt in 15th chapter. Yogananda that we are going to take now is the 11th chapter. Atmananda is the 12th chapter. Advaitananda is the 13th chapter. Just for the convenience of unfoldment, we have divided in this so that we Brahmananda is one and the same. That is what Brihadaranyaka says. एतस्य एव आनंदस्य अन्यानि भूतानि मात्राम उपजीवन्ति. Brihadaranyaka 4:32. एतस्य एव आनंदस्य, एतस्य of this, of what एतस्य, एतस्य ब्रह्मणः आनंदस्य, ब्रह्म स्वरूप आनंदस्य. So अन्यानि भूतानि, other bhuta, other beings. What are those other beings? Brahmatiriktaani bhutani. Those beings which are different from Brahma. Actually, there is nothing different from Brahma, but due to ignorance, which appear to be different from Brahma. So therefore, anyani bhutani means brahmatiriktatvena pratiyamanani. Brahmatiriktatvena pratiyamanani. Those beings which appear to be different from Brahma, really not different from Brahma, but they appear to be different from Brahma. So brahmatiriktatvena pratiyamanani. Who are those? Brahmadi pipirikantani. From the Hiranyagarbha Brahmaji onwards up to Pipilika, any insignificant creature in the creation, all these etani anyani bhutani, whatever ananda they experience. Criteria, this Ananda Mimamsa is over, or yet to come. Not over. Okay. So there you will find that. So it means that as if that is the statistics of the happiness or Ananda that is enjoyed from Hiranyagarbha onwards to the an ideal man, on the Manusha. So that will be seen there. So all these together is actually an infinitesimal fraction, as it were, of what the Brahmananda is. Therefore, Anyani bhutani the matram. Matram is kalam. Just a very insignificant portion of what the Brahmanda is. That the that upajivanti means upabhunjati, the experience. If Brahmananda is ananta, satyam jnanam ananta. That anantatva is actually the ananda aspect of that, because limitations is sorrows, and in the ananda can be only from Chaitanya Swarupa. So in that ananta, how are you making these parts? Kala means matra. Matra means kala means a part. In a limitless thing, you can't make a part. Even with mathematics, infinity. So infinity is, what is the part of infinity? Infinity is plus infinity. Infinity, otherwise it will not be infinity. Portion of infinity must be infinity, otherwise it will not be infinity. So like that, so how are you going to make this part? Yes, that is true, it cannot be made, but due to ignorance it is possible. So therefore it says, see, avidya pratyupasthapitam vishayendriya sambandha kala vibhavyam pratiyamanam kalam. What is that part? The part like this. Avidya pratyupasthapitam. That part is presented by who? Avidya, ignorance, not knowing what the Brahmananda is, be identifying with the embodiment and then indulging in the sense object Vishayas. So therefore, Vishayendriya Sambandha Kala Vibhavyam. That happiness which is experienced at the time of indulgence in the sense object, that is taken as the Kala, the Matra, part of the Brahmananda, but actually there cannot be any part in the Brahmananda. So that upabhunjati, upajivanti, the experience. Ananda is only one, but it appears to be many. The source is one. So this Ananda, they have divided into now 5, and that is where these 5 chapters begin. And therefore, though these 5 chapters appear to be separate from the earlier 10 chapters, it is only to elaborate the Brahmananda referred in the 7th chapter. Otherwise, that particular topic is not unfolded by the author, and therefore that means these both together can be taken as one text as Panchadasi. The other Tikakara, Achutray Modak, he connects with it slightly different. I think what we are seeing is a little better connection, because obviously that expectation of Brahmananda is there, which the author has not explained, and here he is giving a clue, as it were, to arrive at or appreciate what the Brahmananda is. Achutray Modak says he connects these chapters to this 10th chapter, that is Natakadipa. So Natakadipa, 24th stanza, Sarva Grahopa Samshanti Vastu. Means what you do is ascertain the entire Dvaita as Mithya. Means the Sarva Pratiti Jnana, the knowledge of individual things that you get rid of, means you get rid of the entire Dvaita. What remains is what? Of course, entire Dvaita after Shravana Manana, okay? Not just like that. Not the Patanjali Yoga, that will come to that, because Yoga word is coming frequently, we have to start that word. So, after knowledge, in the appreciation of one's own real nature, so that means the one, the Drishta Vilaya. Drishta Vilaya means the making the Antakarana totally free from Drishta, Sarva Pratiti Jnana, knowledge of this and that, the limited thing, so that you get rid of Sarva Grahopa Samshanti. There you can appreciate what the Atma is true. But the question is, this Sarva Graha Upashanti is not a easy thing. Then what is to be done? So he had given an alternative in the last stanza, that is 26th stanza. He says, Yadi Sarva Graha Tyagaha Ashakyaha Tarhi Dhyam Raja. If you are not able to resolve all the drishtas, or this, that means the knowledge of this and that, and make your mind absorbed in the knowledge of oneself, if that is not possible, difficult for you, then Dhyam Raja. Raise your arms up and surrender to whom? Buddhi, not literally. So Dhyam Raja means what he says is, you try to appreciate the Sakshi Chaitanya in and to the vrittis of the Antakarana, that Chaitanya which is the illuminating factor of the Sakshi. So you try to appreciate that. Let the vrittis be there. That all grahas means vrittis. If vrittis, if you are not able to, that means dismiss as mithya. So okay, let them be there. But what you do is, in and through the vrittis, appreciate the Sakshi Chaitanya Sarupa Dhyam Raja Vastu. Because there you will be able to appreciate the Chaitanya Sarupa Atma Brahma, which is in and through all the vrittis as the illuminating factor, the Sakshi. Now, this is what was told in the 10th chapter, and the 10th chapter was concluded. The Tikakara says, a student, after hearing this, started to investigate in the vrittis so that he can appreciate the Sakshi Sarupa Atma Brahma. So, having seen this, the teacher, out of compassion, thought of helping this student in terms of analyzing the vrittis, so that he need not bother about all the vrittis, but in certain vrittis he can certainly appreciate the Brahma, which is Ananda Sarupa. And therefore, the 5 chapters have been elaborated. That way, he gives to that time, there is a point in that also that it can be viewed that way. Either way, it gives, at least it analyzes the certain Antakarana vritti and makes us capable to appreciate what the Brahmanda is precisely, exactly. This is where it is, because the experiences referred therein are not something aligned to us. These are from our day-to-day experiences. Do you sleep or not? Not in the class. I don't expect, at least. So that experience, do you know or not? At times, you have nothing to do as such. Whatever the pressing work was to be done, you have done. You don't feel high, relaxed as such. Have you got that experience or not? Yes. Such experience, he catches and analyzes. And he says, with the help of these, you can arrive at Brahmanda. Very, that means a unique and with interesting analysis is going to come. So that way, so what the Brahmanda is, has to be, that means he is being unfolded here. So therefore, entire section of these 5 chapters are called Brahmananda Granthaha. So, Brahma cha asau anandaha cha iti Brahmanandaha. So, that which is Brahma, at the same time it is Ananda, not Ananda of Brahma. Then what will happen? Brahma is something and it has got some guna of Ananda. No. Brahma itself is Ananda. Brahma cha asau anandaha cha iti Brahmanandaha. And always we know there is identity between the name and the content of the name. Vachya, Vachaka, Abheda is there, also Aupacharikataya, secondarily is there. So therefore the text which deals with Brahmanda also is called as Brahmanda. Like any physics, chemistry, etc. That means the content is Brahmanda, therefore the text itself is called as the Brahmananda. So these are the Brahmanda. Now, among these 5 chapters called Brahmanda, the first chapter is Yogananda Prakarana. Brahmanande Yogananda Prakarana. Now, question arises, what is this Yogananda? If Yogananda means yoga is there. Unless you know what the yoga is, Yogananda will not be resolved. So, what is this Yogananda that is referred by this author here in the 11th chapter? Okay. He himself tells in one of the Sangha's letter at the conclusion, Yogi Pratyakshaha Anandaha Yogananda. Let us go step by step. After we'll come to yoga. Yogi Pratyakshaha or Yogyanubhava Rupaha. The Ananda which is directly appreciated by a yogi. Yogyanubhava Rupaha. That which is experienced by the yogi. Or Pratyaksha, which is directly appreciated by the yogi. So that is what is the Yogananda. This is given in the last stanza of this very chapter. The author himself, because we have to go with the definitions of the author. Because he is unfolding something, and in what, that means with what meaning he has used the words, we have to get it from him only. So otherwise that Yogananda word is not resolved in any of the other stanzas of the chapter. So the last bit, Yogi Pratyakshaha, Yogyanubhava Rupaha, Anandaha, Yogananda. Means, this much we can say, that Ananda appreciated by the yogi is Yogananda. The question arises, who is the yogi? Who is the yogi? The one who has got yoga. Yoga hasya sthiti yogin. But our problem is not resolved. The question will be centered on now, what is yoga? What is yoga? We should know the yoga word as used by the author. What is our concept? The moment we spell out yoga, where do you jump? Ashtanga yoga, Patanjali yoga. So, if that is meant by author, well and good. If author uses the word yoga in some other sense, and we take the word in the some other sense, then what will happen? The author is traveling in one plane, and we are traveling the other plane, parallel planes, only to meet at infinity. You know how much communication will take place? Meeting at infinity means geometry. 2 parallel lines meet at infinity, they never meet. So therefore, if the teacher speaks of, that means the author speaks of something and we take it of something else, then what will happen? We will never meet in the time, no communication is possible. So therefore, we have to pass this word yoga. What is meant by yoga? Because yogi means one who has got yoga. So therefore, what is yoga as used by the author in the Yogananda Prakarana or this thing we have to see. Yoga word primarily means nothing short of Paramartha Jnana, Abheda Jnana. Yoga word primarily means Paramartha Jnana. What is Paramartha Jnana? Paramartha Swarup. Abheda Jnana. The knowledge of identity between Jiva and Brahma. Jiveshwara Aikya. Jiva Brahma Aikya. The one and the same Brahma without any secondness is that Advaya Jnana, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. This knowledge is, that is what is yoga. And here a doubt may come. How? Yoga means many other things, etc. So now this is what is actually primarily yoga means Paramartha Jnana, Abheda Jnana. We'll see how it is so. Actually you have studied Gita. In Gita, the 4th chapter, what Lord Krishna says? Imam vivasvate yogam prostavanaham avyayam. I taught this yoga to whom? Vivasva. Who says? Lord Krishna. And when he says Imam, and this I taught, which teaching does he refer? Whatever that he had taught earlier to 4th chapter, is it not? It should necessarily refer to the teaching that he had imparted to Arjuna before Fourth chapter. Where did he teach? First chapter you have to eliminate. Teaching where there is nothing much there. Okay. Second chapter, what did he teach? Which yoga? As the colophon goes, Sankhya Yoga. It is called as Sankhya Yoga. But what is Sankhya Yoga? Third chapter, what was it? Karma Yoga. Both he brackets together and what he says, Imam, singular. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Ahman. I taught this yoga to Vivaswan at the beginning of the creation. Okay. Now Bhashyakara says, well, let us see what Bhashyakara has to say this on this particular stanza. He says, Bhashyakara says, see, योयम योगः अध्यायद्वयेन उक्तः ज्ञाननिष्ठा लक्षणः ससन्यासः कर्मयोगोपायः. Imam yogam, what the Bhashyakara refers as, that is yaha ayam yoga. See, singular he uses. This yoga, which is taught how adhyayadvayena uktaha, which I have taught in terms of these two chapters, Sankhya Yoga, the second chapter, Karma Yoga, third chapter, Yoga, the Adya Uktaha. And what exactly it is? Jnana Nishtha Lakshanaha Sasanyasaha. Characterized by Jnana Nishtha, the firm abidance of the Buddhi in the knowledge of oneself, Atma, Brahma. And Sasanyasaha, along with the Sanyasa, total freedom from karma. Okay, means this is the main thing. But to accomplish this, certain preparations are necessary. So therefore it says, Karma Yogopayaha. One for which goal counts, the end counts than the more than the means, because the means has no separate existence, or that means it has no role to play besides the accomplishment of the end, the goal. So therefore, Karma Yoga Upaya as a means, but the knowledge, that Jnana Nishtha, that means the knowledge is the main thing to begin. That is the yoga that is said, which will be further clear, will be clear further from 5th chapter also. So this is one thing we are seeing. In 5th chapter, again he says, he very clearly says, the yoga, Bhashyakara says, yoga word primarily means the knowledge only. In the 5th chapter it says, Jnanapekshaha tu sanyasaha sankhyamiti maya abhiprita. There, that is the Sankhya and yoga in terms of sannyasa, that means the Arjuna's question is there. And therefore it says, Jnanapekshaha sanyasaha sankhyamiti maya abhipretaha. As far as when I use this word, what do I mean by Sankhya is Jnanapekshaha sannyasa. Arjuna's concept of sannyasa was just give up the action, just give up the karma. That is what he took it to be sannyasa. But Lord Krishna says, look, when I say sannyasa, I don't mean anything short of Atmajnana. So therefore, sannyasa, what is sannyasa? Jnanapekshaha, which is dependent on knowledge, nothing short of it. Jnanapekshaha sannyasaha. Yes. Sannyasaha sankhyamiti maya abhipretaha, which is considered as Sankhya. That is what I take it to be. Okay. Then Paramartha yogasya saha eva. Paramartha yoga. The yoga in the highest sense, the ultimate yoga is what? Saha. Saha means what? Sannyasa. Which sannyasa? Jnana, that is Jnanapekshaha. The sannyasa which is terms for Jnana, Atma Jnana, Abheda Jnana, so Jiva Brahmaika Jnana. So that he says, Paramartha, that is the Paramartha Yogasya. That is the Paramartha Yoga. That is the actual yoga. Then what about the Karma Yoga, etc.? He says, Tadarthena, that is, it is Tadarthena Yogaha iti sprutaha. This further it says, whereas the other one, which is the Karma Yoga, etc., this is यस्तु कर्मयोगः वैदिकः सः च तादर्थ्यात् योगः संन्यासः इति उपचर्यते. Which one? The karma yoga. Therefore, yastu vaidikah. Of course, it has got a sanction of the Vedas. So, yastu karma yoga vaidikah. Such a tadarthya. Tadarthya means what is tadarthya? Being for the sake of paramartha yoga. That is what? Sankhya. Being an upaya means for Sankhya, Atmadhyana, Abheda Jnana. So therefore it is called, it is yoga, sannyasa. In sannyasa also secondarily that is stored, karma yoga also, because he praises. So it is upacharyate. It is secondarily said. It is primarily the word used in the sense of, yoga word is used in the sense of paramartha jnana. But secondarily, it is used as the karma yoga. Karma yoga also means again there, karma yoga also includes in its, that means this, along with that, the other means, whatever means which are required to prepare the mind. It means it need not be only Ishwararpana Buddhi, etc. Even Patanjali Yoga will be included there because it, to some extent, or to some people at least, it will help to prepare the mind. So that way, this yoga word is used in the secondary sense for karma yoga or Patanjali yoga or any sadhanas, whatsoever it may be, that prepares the mind. It need not be only karma yoga, Patanjali yoga, etc. Any blessed sadhana which prepares the mind to gain this sankhya, the knowledge that can be told as, that is taken as yoga secondarily. Primarily, it is the Abheda Jnana only that is there. Again, another word we will get in the Gita only, which is say, Samadha Vachala Buddhi Tada Yogam Avapsyasi. Second chapter. Yada Samadhau Achala Buddhi Tada Yogam Avapsyasi. When your buddhi is achala, that means steadfast in what? Samadhi. Now don't jump, samadhi means what is the samadhi word there? Samadhiyate asmin sarvam iti samadhi atma. In that particular stanza of Gita, second chapter, samadha vachala buddhi tada yogam avapsati. That samadhiyate chittam asmin iti samadhi atma. Antakarana is abiding in which? That in which the antakarana is abiding is atma. When your buddhi is steadfast in the appreciation of Atma, tada yogam avapsyasi, then you will accomplish the yoga. What yoga is this? Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. Because the Samadhi word, not the Patanjali and the Samadhi is referred there. It is Atma which is referred as Samadhi. So therefore, to the Paramartha Jnana, that is the Abheda Jnana itself is referred as yoga. There, that is what it says. Samadhiyate chittam asmiti samadhi. Tasmin vikalpa varjita buddhi antakaranam yogam. Bhashyakara refers that as, see, tasmin, in that Atma, buddhi, the buddhi which is vikalpa varjita, the buddhi which is free from all doubts and errors, buddhi, vikalpa varjita buddhi, is means of that means antakarana is yogam. Bhashyakara adds viveka pradnyam samadhim. That absorption of the mind wherein Viveka Pradnya is there, means Atma Jnana is there, Brahma Jnana is there. This means the word yoga primarily means Abheda Jnana, Paramartha Jnana. Secondarily, of course, it does mean what now that the other techniques wherein Patanjali yoga also comes. So, and of course, in the context you will see, now in the 11th chapter, yoga word is used in the sense of Abheda Jnana, except at places where Patanjali yoga also is brought. We will go, that means in detail at that place, particular place, in what sense he means the yoga as Patanjali yoga. But otherwise, that is Yogananda. Yogi Pratyaksha Ananda is referred to the Ananda discovered by the Brahmajnani or Brahmananda only, and not the Ananda of Patanjali Yogi. No doubt, he has got the absorbed state of the mind, but what is still there? Ahankara is still there. Because ignorance being there, ahankara is there. At best, we can take it as the andha samadhi, as the absorbed state of the mind, maybe certainly a covetable state. We don't deny that. But still the ignorance being there, ahankara is there. It is not actually, it cannot be the state of knowledge. So that way, that means the Patanjali Yoga Samadhi has to be separated from what is referred here as Yogananda. Also, actually, see, the Ananda experienced by Patanjali Yoga in the Andha Samadhi, what is it actually? From where is it? It also is a expression of Brahmananda. Even Vishyananda, any Ananda, any happiness is the expression of Brahmananda only. So therefore, the Ananda experienced by Patanjali Yogi also is an expression of Brahmananda. That aspect also is going to take into account, and possibly the 12th chapter is going to deal with that. So certainly that is also the expression of the Brahmananda. Now the question arises, then Bhashyakara etc. have, all this they have criticized this yoga. What their Patanjali Yoga? What have they actually decided? We have to see. Actually, what is criticized is that aspect in Patanjali Yoga which is opposed to Shruti. In Sankhya, and it's another thing. See, as a school of thought, Yoga school of thought, its philosophy is not different from Kapila's Sankhya school of, not our second chapter Gita Sankhya. Kapila's Sankhya school of thought, whatever that is, that is the philosophy of the Yoga school. Except one aspect, that the Yoga admits Ishvara. But which Ishvara? Ishvara according to their concept, not the Ishvara that the Vedas or Vedanta speaks of. The Ishvara according to their concept they do accept, that is fine. But their entire philosophy is based on the Kapila's Sankhya Shastra. Now, when in Brahma Sutra, the yoga is dismissed, what Vyasa, that means the Sutrakara or Bhashyakara, refute is those aspects which are against the Shruti. So we can find that one sutra goes as Etena Yogaha Pratyuktaha. By this, yoga is refuted, dismissed. Yoga means that means the philosophy of the Patanjali Yoga is dismissed. Etena Yogaha Pratyuktaha. Etena, by this. That sutra says. What is that by this? What is meant there by this? Means what I had told in the earlier sutra. Earlier sutras, the Sankhya was dismissed. Etena means Sankhya Smriti Pratyakhyanena. By refuting the Sankhya Smriti, Sankhya school of thought, so Etena, by this, Yogaha Pratyuktaha. The Yoga school of thought is, that means answered in the sense, is dismissed, refuted. Now, what exactly was refuted by Sutrakara and commented by Bhashyakara in refutation of Sankhya, that we have to see. Actually, what that was refuted there was this. The concept of the Sankhya, that of Pradhana and its Vikara, Mahat, Ahankara, etc. means Purusha is there, Prakriti is there. Actually, Sankhya is basically Dvaitavadi. So they are the Dvaitavadins only. So the concept of Pradhana and its Vikara, etc., that is being dismissed because it is Shruti Bahya. Nowhere in the Shruti you will find that about this concept of Pradhana and its Vikara. So therefore, this is what is dismissed by Bhashyakara, because if you see the Sutra Bhashya, you will find that this is in the case of Sankhya, this is what is refuted, and same thing is extended to Yoga by saying that by this the Yoga also is refuted. Now in this context we will see what Shankaracharya, Bhashyakara, has to say about the Sankhya and Yoga in those matters where other than what has been refuted. What is his viewpoint about the Sankhya and the Yoga. That means about other than these which have been the topics which have been refuted. He says in the Sutra Bhashya itself, because I am taking this because otherwise the yoga word will not be clear and will not be able to understand in what sense the author has used the word yoga here. The Patanjali yoga aspect that also is there, will take in the proper context. In what way that word is used. There Bhashyakara says, Yena to anshena na viruddhyate tena ishtameva sankhya yoga smrityoho savakashatvam. Yena to anshena. Yena to anshena means from those standpoints or whatever the portion. Na viruddhyate. Sankhya and yoga don't clash with Vedanta, or they are not opposed to, that means the Shruti. So in that case, Tena Ushena, with respect from the standpoint of those portions, Sankhya Ishtam Eva, Sankhya Yoga Smrityoho Savakashat. Ishtam Eva, Angikritam Eva, accepted. What is accepted? Savakashatva. Savakashatva, the applicability or the usefulness. The usefulness or the applicability of yoga and Sankhya is what it is Ishtam Eva, Sankhya Yoga Smrityoho, of Sankhya Smriti and the Yoga Smriti, the applicability is acceptable in those aspects wherein they are not opposed to, where they are in opposition to Shruti. He has already dismissed that. He is after dismissing, refuting, he says it. That means what then? What is the clear-cut mandate then? What is acceptable and what is not acceptable? He makes further clear. Okay. Then the question arises: if that is the case, this Bhashyakara says after stashing these fellows totally, okay, not earlier. He outright stashes them, and after he says, so from those standpoints where they are not opposed to that, we can at least accept them. Then the question is, why did you refute them earlier? What exactly did you refute earlier? This is what was refuted. What is that? Nirakaranam tu, whatever that nirakarana, refutation that I had indulged in earlier. Nirakaranam tu, na sankhya jnanena veda nirapekshena yoga margena va nishreyasam adhigamyate iti. Nirakaranam tu. Whereas means, these things are acceptable, why did you refute? Yes. What I refuted was Nirakaranam is Veda nirapekshena sankhya jnanena yoga margena va. By either of these two. The sankhya jnana, what is Veda nirapeksha, which is independent of Veda, means which is Shruti Bahya, which is not in accordance with the Shruti, the Vedas. Either it is Veda nirapekshena, this Sankhya jnanena va yoga margena. Veda nirapekshena Sankhya jnanena, Veda nirapekshena yoga margena. Yoga, which is Veda nirapeksha, which is independent of Vedas, which is that means which is in contrast to Vedas. The Sankhya jnana, which is in contrast to Vedas. By this, nishreyasam adhigamyate. What they say, that nishreyas, moksha is gained by those things which are opposed to Shruti, Vedas. That is exactly is refuted by me. Other than this, which is supplementary and useful, well and good. So that means we can accept. Like for example, technique of Patanjali Yoga as one of the means to rectify the mind, in the sense, make the mind ready, etc. It's well, Vedanta accepts. But if you say, by that alone moksha is gained, wrong. Which you see in the context of when the Patanjali Yoga comes, that context, because the author himself is making use of the Patanjali, you see in this manner. So here, Yogananda, this is Yogi, Pratyakshaha, Yoganibhava Rupaha, Anandaha, Yogananda. That is what the subject matter of the 11th chapter. Let us take this. ब्रह्मानंदं प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञाते तस्मिन् शेषतः। ऐहिकामुष्मिकानर्थौ व्रातं हित्वा सुखायते। From the 1 to 10, they unfold that Brahmananda destroys all anartha, all sorrows at the same time, and thereby, so it makes you discover the limitless Ananda, limitless. It destroys from the 1 to 10. That is Brahmanandasya Sarvanarthanana Purvakam. Sarvanarthanana Purvakam. By destruction of all the anarthas, samsara sorrow, Hanana Purvaka, Sukha Hetutva Kathanam. Thereby, it is Brahmanda is the cause of Sukha, means it makes you discover the Ananda that is your real nature. And the first stanza tells us, of course, as usual, the author does the Mangala Acharana also. So that is the greatness of it. Actually, what he says is the Prayojana. What is the purpose or usefulness of this chapter? Thereby, first he offers the Mangala Acharana, salutations to the Lord or remembrance of the Lord. Where is it? We don't find anywhere there. Any Mangala is there? The word Brahma is enough. That's all. The word Brahma itself is Mangala Swarup. Traditionally, after the session of Brahma Sutra classes, there's one, the last prayers are offered, beginning and end also. And the last prayer ends with Ashubhani nirachaste tanoti shubha santatim Dhruti matrena yat punsam brahma tan mangalam param. That's the prayer of what is Brahma? Tan mangalam param. But Brahma param mangalam. That Brahma is what? Parama mangala, not ordinary mangala. Ordinary mangalas may be that, but this is a parama mangala. Why? Ashubhani nirachaste. It totally destroys all the Shubha. What is Ashubha? Can you pinpoint what is the most Ashubha? Only one. I want only one word. Yes, correct. Ajnana, avidya. Because what is Shubha and Ashubha? What you, in common parlance, what you call as Shubha and what you call as Ashubha? Of course, you were to attend Brahmanda class and morning severe headache you got. Shubha. You today only I think Brahmanda. I thought I will get something of Brahmanda. But what happened? Headache started. So Shubha or Ashubha? Whatever gives sorrow is Ashubha. Whatever that gives you joy is Shubha. Common parlance. Okay then. So now this is the case. So that which gives the maximum sorrow, nothing but sorrow and sorrow alone. What is it? Ignorance. That's what we are. Where we are. So-called samsara we are because of ignorance. So therefore, Ashubha Ninarachasti, total lock, stock and barrel, the Ashubha sorrow is destroyed, which is possible only when the ignorance is destroyed. Ashubha Ninarachasti, the entire sorrow of samsara is destroyed by that. Tanoti Shubha Santati. Vistara, expanse of Shubha Santati means, that means continuous Ananda Swarupa, me is appreciated. Brahman, that is what is the Brahman, means always Ananda Swarupa. Nothing else. When is it possible? Always Ananda. At times, occasionally you may be happy as such. But to be always Ananda Swarupa, you have to discover yourself. You know that in Telugu there is one phrase there. What is that? Nitya Kalyanamu Pachatoranam. Nitya Kalyanamu Pachatoranam. It is a festive occasion always. Wow, when it can be festive occasion always? Otherwise, Kalyanam is marriage also is called Kalyanam. that is not the thing. Nitya Kalyanam is not always the Kalyana. Always the Artham is what? Mangala Swarupa. Pacha Torana, you know, in some festive occasion is that you put the Torana there green, all everything green, etc. Abundance, etc. So like that, when it can be, when it is, me the Anda Swarupa is Tanoti Shubha Santati, which that means Shubha Santati, that is expanse of that means of the Shubha, the Anda Swarupa, me. How? Who does that? Yat smriti matrena punsam, that is ashubhani nirachaste, punsam anda santatim tanoti. So who? Yat, what is that? That Brahma, smriti matrena, just by smriti, just by remembrance. So just think of it. If that Brahma can bring such ananda by just remembrance, what should be the nature of Brahma? It should be Mangala Sarupa. It should be Ananda Sarupa. Brahma Tat Param Mangalam. That Brahma is Parama Mangala. Therefore, that word Brahma itself is sufficient for Mangala Acharana. So, Brahmanandam Pravakshami. This is the statement of declaration by the author. If he fails, we can catch it. Provided you also have applied yourself properly. Pravakshami, I am going to tell you, not just Vakshami. I am going to tell you thoroughly. Prakarshena Vakshami. Prakarshena Vakshami. So, Prakarshena Vakshami. That is thoroughly I am going to tell you what Brahmananda. Until you understand. Of course, analysis also is so elaborate. So, until you understand, thoroughly I am going to unfold this Brahmanandam. Okay. Fine. What will I get out of it? What am I going to get out? Prayojana. You may say, you may not have anything else to do. It's time pass. You know? So like that. So that may be the thing. No, what am I going to get out of that? Tasmin jnate aihikamushmikanartha vratam asheshataha hitva ad jidnyasuhu sukhayate. Tasmin jnate jidnyasu sukhayate. Tasmin means Tasmin Brahmanande jnate. When that Brahmananda which I am going to unfold now, if that is appreciated, that is gain. That is known means that is appreciated. And Tasmin jnate aihikamushmikanartha vratam. Anartha vrata. Anartha vrata. The vrata, the samuha, the aggregate, the host of anartha. Anarthas means unwanted things, the sorrowful things. What are those? Aihika and amushmika. Aihika means the adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidaivika tapasya. The afflictions that we have to confront with in this world aspect. Aihikaha, ihaloke bhavaha, adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidaivataha. So the tapas which we have to face in this world, ihaloke bhavaha ahikaha, adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidaivataha. You know that adhyatmika, adibhautika and adidaivata tapas. What are amushmikaha? Paraloke bhavaha tapaha. The afflictions that one gets subjected to in the other world. Other worlds can be different types of worlds, including heavens also. Don't think that everything is all cozy in heaven. See, you went to heaven and Indra is riding on the Airavata and you are walking on the footpath. What will happen? Some applications, maybe that standard of living may be better than here. That's fine. But still you are not all that fine. Like that. If it is hell, so-called, if at all it is there, then you don't ask at all. So that will be nothing but concentrated sorrow it will be. So like this, amushmika, tapa, so, hitva, paristajya, having given how? Asheshataha yatha bhavati tatha hitva. Not just asheshataha yatha bhavati. Without any trace being left over, totally, hitva, paristajya, mukshuhu or jidnyasuhu, sukhayate. Sukhayate. Sukham vedayate or Sukharupam Brahma eva bhavati. He knows his own Ananda Swarupa, his own Ananda Swarupa, or this Brahmananda makes him know the Ananda Swarupa. Sukhaya, that is, or it can be means Sukharupam Brahma eva bhavati. He becomes verily the Sukharupa Brahma. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate